All right, the Cleveland Browns, they get a new coach. It's Tommy Reese. He's going to be the tight ends coach. And I think this just solves a major problem that the Cleveland Browns had last year. If you're new to the channel, we make videos for teams that don't get the love nationally like they should. We're Detroit Lions fans, but we've been all over the Cleveland Browns all year. So if you followed us, make sure you subscribe. Love it. We love the Browns and really root for them. But yeah, Lions obviously in the NFC Championship game. I know a lot of Cleveland Browns fans are rooting for the Lions as the two franchises are real similar. So a tight ends coach, and this is really interesting because you think, oh, all right, what's going on here? Tight ends coach. This is a tight ends coach that is really got a background that is going to really help the Cleveland Browns. And tight ends coaches, just like the Detroit Lions, their former tight ends coach was none other than Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator. Very innovative, very involved in the offense. Same thing here. Tommy Reese has a really good history, and we'll look at it here in a second. But the tight end coach is not just this, here's your two players, coach them up. No, they're involved in the run game, the pass game, pass protection. So the tight ends coach is a really important position. And I when I looked at Tommy Reese, I think this is going to really solve some problems. Let's look at it here for a second. So it talks about, obviously you remember he went to, it wasn't that long ago, really. He went to Notre Dame. Remember, he was kind of like this next up and coming guy. Doesn't really happen. He went undrafted in the 2014 draft, signs with the Redskins, never really makes out of training camp. Fine. Then he goes be a QB coach. He goes in the NFL a little bit. Then he goes back out of the NFL, and he is head coach for Nick Saban. Okay, or he's offensive coordinator for Nick Saban. This is huge because Jalen Milroe began the season really poorly, but then ends up throwing 400 yards, averaging 34 points a game. And so what you've now got is a college-minded coach coming into the Cleveland Browns. And why that's important is because Alabama, while they're in college, they are as near the NFL as you can possibly get, but they also have those tendencies, those fundamental things that are college. And why that's important is because, and we'll get back to what else he can provide, but why that's important is because you have a mobile college-y type quarterback, which good for you, right? The Lions have Jared Goff. Love him. He's great, but man, that inability to move is just brutal sometimes. You've got a mobile athletic quarterback in Deshaun Watson. So you've got to get concepts, ideas around to get him moving. He cannot just be stagnant in the pocket. So this tight ends coach, I know he's not the quarterback coach or the offensive coordinator, but he's going to provide principles and perspective around the college game, which is built more around a mobile quarterback moving around. And so those ideas and those things that they can bring can make this offense a lot more innovative. And because you got the defense. So the biggest problem last year was injuries. But outside of that, it's like, hey, offense, we got to get more innovative. We have a mobile quarterback with a strong arm, and let's use that. Let's do more with that. Now, he's not a running quarterback. He's not going to do Lamar type stuff, but he can. Sprinkle that in. There's stuff like that has to be done if you are a Cleveland Browns fan. So again, he was in the NFL when Coach Saban retired. That's when he started looking for a new job. And so he's 31 years old. He was the Alabama's offensive coordinator. So that's really important. He knows the entire offense and what to do. Now he boils it down to tight ends coach with the Cleveland Browns. I love that. Reese and newly hired Deuce Staley both stand out guys that could eventually become head coaches in the NFL. So I love that the Cleveland Browns, I've said this in other videos, didn't stand pat this offseason, but instead got really aggressive. Deuce Staley was with the Lions. He was all about toughness. And I said, the Browns need to get tougher. And don't get me wrong, they're really good. They're a tough team, right? AFC North. It's not like they're the Chargers, but it's the AFC North, man. You cannot sit around. You have to be a physical team. So they get Deuce Staley to be part of that. But then I said they have to get innovative, and Reese does that. So they're doing exactly what they have to do to fix the offense. This offense should be better, and it has to be better because I think outside of the Ravens, the Bengals defense doesn't scare you, right? I mean, you're not like, oh my gosh, Pittsburgh Steelers no longer scare you defensively. So it's like, let's put up some points. You guys like, we got to put up some more points than what we're doing. So the tight end room. So they drill down a little bit more tight end room. Get it? Fine. You've got Njoku. It's so much bigger than these four guys, though. That's what I'm trying to say. Is he's going to coach them up, of course, but it's so much bigger than that. Tommy Rees. He was an offensive coordinator. He was with elite programs both at Notre Dame and Alabama. He was a quarterback. Tight ends, not a problem. A lot of position coaches never played well as a player. Browns offensive line coach Bill Callahan is one of the best known. He's a former quarterback himself. So the advantage that Rees will bring is that he is yet another guy who has called plays before at a high level of college football as both a player and a coordinator. He might bring a new perspective and some college concepts that Stefanski has never considered. There it is. There's got to be that element, because if that happens, then the Browns are just going to be, man, dangerous, because the defense is already there, get healthy guys back. But if you're not consistently using Deshaun Watson's feet, I don't think you're doing yourself any favors. You got to use his feet because he's too dynamic. And dynamic's probably the wrong word, but it's way too much of an advantage to not be using it. So again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. The Lions, one win away from the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people have been rooting for the Lions here on this channel just because Cleveland Browns so similar. We also do the Houston Texans on this channel. We do the Texans because we can't stand the Cowboys. So you talk about the Texans and the Browns. We really enjoy that. Let me know your score prediction for the Lions. Lions, San Fran. You guys played San Fran, beat them up pretty good. You end up winning that game. They missed a field goal. So, man, I get it. San Fran's good. They're talented. But part of me is like, the Lions could do this. They can really do this. So, got to catch some breaks. I mean, that's kind of where it is. I think Lions are good enough to win, but they are the team that would need to catch a few breaks in order to pull this off. But you look around top to bottom, Lions have the talent, but there is an injury on the offensive line that is a big one. One of the top offensive linemen is not there. Jared Goff cannot handle pressure in his face at all. I mean, no quarterback likes that, but man, Goff struggles with pressure. We all know it. So again, let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. Really excited for the Lions. Really excited for the Browns next year. You have to be. With Stefanski's really got a culture there. Defense is going to be good. Offense is going to be more innovative. A lot more things that they're going to do. So if you haven't subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out, and we'll see all of you on the next one.